Don't know if we can mention names, but
we're not sponsored. But if you want to hear a story.
But it's the truth.
All right. Welcome.
Very welcome.
We're here again. This time we're missing somebody. Guess who's not here? Yeah, my Tia is out traveling for a couple weeks, so we decided we're going to do some shorter episodes the next couple weeks. They're good, bad, funny, life, light episodes, but we're ready to go, right?
Absolutely.
And in honor of my Tia's travels, what we're going to do today is pick up our discussion about traveling. I know before it was traveling disasters, but this time we're going to focus on traveling with someone older, because my mom and I travel a lot. And certainly we've noticed in the last few trips we've made, we've had to make some adjustments. So we hope this is a topic that is useful for folks. And yeah, we'll get right into it. You ready?
Ready.
All right, so we're going to cover a couple tips. It's not an exhaustive list, so for sure, as people are listening to this, if they think of some other things that have been useful, please share those in the comments, because we know this is something impacting a lot of families as they see parents and loved ones age, but they still want them to participate and travel. So the first thing that comes to mind for me is not over planning, because over the years that we've done a lot of trips, when we've gone to places that we know are a little further out that we're less likely to come back to, I know I tend to organize a lot, and I like to pack a lot of stuff in. I have been notorious for booking too much. A good example is, I think it was last year, we went to New York. I would say really for the first real time that we spent a good amount of time there. And I know that I had a couple things we definitely wanted to do, and part of planning was asking everyone who was going, there were 4 of us, what are the must-dos that everyone wants, and then go from there. And so, I don't know, Mom, what were some of the highlights for you?
Oh my goodness. Well, New York is a beautiful city, has a very unique atmosphere. From the places we visited, something very emotional to me, I'm sure to all of us, was the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. On my father's side of the family, my great-grandfather came from Poland. So he came through immigration. And we could see, pictures and memorabilia of people that have come to the United States of America looking for a better life, many for freedom. So that was very emotional. Another emotional place is where the towers were. How do we call that?
The 9/11 memorial.
But anyway, it's undescribable. We went down to the museum. There are no words really. It's very emotional. And then, of course, we were at a hotel across from Central Park, St. Patrick's Cathedral, Manhattan. All Manhattan is beautiful. And then we crossed, you will not believe it, the
Brooklyn Bridge.
Brooklyn Bridge. I crossed it.
Yeah, I think it's like 1.5 miles or something like that, right?
Very much so. And of course, we took time, being that I was lower than my other 3 kids are younger. And they were patient, because you take your time, good walking shoes, but it was worth it. It's very beautiful.
Yeah. And do you think that we hit up most of the things that you wanted to see in New York?
I think so.
Yeah.
Amazingly so. And I think we had 4 days, 3 or 4 days.
I think it was 4 days, yeah.
So we really did, I was amazed, but, thank God we did it.
And one of the things we kept in mind, I think I lost sight of, was there was a lot of walking. And so for sure, that was something to keep in mind. We tried to create a schedule where things were clustered together in the same location, so that we did mostly walking. We did some Ubers, but a lot of it was walking to point. Mm-hmm. And so keeping it clustered was helpful. But like I said, what were the essentials everyone wanted, and we tried to capture those in the 4 days, which isn't a lot of time that we went. And so I think also being where you may have to plan a follow-up trip if you can't get everything done in the amount of time that you have.
Definitely.
Speaking of walking, I think that's something to really pay attention to is what is your main mode of transportation, and then really looking at what travel looks like, whether that's getting from one destination to another in a longer travel, but also when you're in the main place you're staying at, what is the layout? Because like I said, we did a lot of walking in New York, and keeping in mind, is it long distances? Is it uphill, downhill? We recently went to Monterey and then went to Carmel by the Sea. And, we had our own car, so we were able to drive pretty frequently. But once you're in certain places where there's not a lot of parking, you may find that you want to park in one place and then do mostly walking. And in Carmel by the Sea, we definitely found out parking was limited. There was also construction, so knowing what's going on, because that limited some of the parking. But once we decided where we were going to park, then we knew which was actually the top of the main street. Then we had to figure out where we wanted to go. And last minute, it occurred to us we want to walk to the beach, which was on the opposite end of where we parked. And so as we were making our way down, shopping and stopping periodically, which is also important to stop to rest.
Very.
When we decided to finally go to the beach, we had to make a decision because it was downhill to get there, but then we knew it was going to be uphill to come back. And so we had to decide, do we want to make this trek? We're very close. What measures do we need to take to rest to make sure coming back isn't a problem? My mom loves the beach and was very determined to get to the beach. So when we decided to go all the way down there, what was your feeling about getting down there?
Well, like you say, it was downhill, and then we had to come up, I think it was like 6 or 7 blocks, if not more. And one of the family members, they're younger than me, but he's also, in his older age. And they were very patient with us, but we had to see the ocean. There's no two ways about it. So I said, yeah, let's do it. And when we come back, we'll take our time. And of course, Carmel by the Sea, Monterey, gorgeous, the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. So we went down, very courageously, and we came up. I would recommend that you have good walking shoes, tennis shoes or good walking shoes, because that's important, for your comfort. But yeah, we had to stop because there was, no other way of coming back. And we took our time. We went inside, for example, a little coffee shop. We sat down there for a few minutes, and there's so many wonderful things to see in Carmel. They have all these little boutiques. It was absolutely worth it to go down. I'm glad we said, yes, let's risk it. Let's go. Let's be courageous.
And actually, when we got down to the beach, it so happened we found there was this little lookout spot. You remember? So that was another opportunity to sit and wait, because we didn't come prepared with beach gear. We didn't really plan to have a beach day, so we didn't have blankets or anything like that. So we stopped at that lookout place and sat down for a little bit. Actually, I think you stood up, but leaned up against the little balcony thing. That was another opportunity for us to rest. And
absolutely.
Yeah. And still get a good look at the beach and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Just take your time, because you have to.
Yeah.
We have to be realistic that older people, we need to take our time. And again, the family being so patient, we appreciate it. Yes, we do.
Now, there's certain places that we've gone to. I know we've mentioned in other videos that we love theme parks. My mom's a fan of Disney in particular. And over the years, as we've gone, we've had to modify some of the things we've done to keep in mind the endurance of being in a park all day. And I know it's different for everyone. Sometimes you're local to the theme park, so maybe you're there for the day and go home. If you happen to be going and traveling and staying in a local resort or hotel, I think one option is definitely to take breaks in the day if that's possible. Break up the day in half or something if it's needed to rest. But if that's not possible, we know that those places, sometimes there's a lot of waiting in line, standing around, in addition to walking the actual park. And so one of the things that we have done more recently, the last couple years, is getting a scooter from my mom, which at first you were a little difficult about getting, I want to say.
I thought it was like, riding a motorcycle. I don't know how to ride this thing.
But now she's a pro, and now when we plan, she's like, did you get my scooter? I know some people have their own personal scooter, but most occasions my mom doesn't need one, so we rent for the day, and we try to make sure we do that in advance. A couple of years ago, I went to Disney World, which was a new experience for us. It was the first time, only time so far, and we made sure that we booked the scooter to have for the duration of the trip so that we always had that available to us. But I think that's made a big difference, right, in managing.
A big difference, yes, because of course, if it's a long day, a whole day at the park, you can take, a little break and walk, because you need to walk also and move. But the scooter, definitely, for a long whole day, it's very important. It makes a difference, I would say. Yes.
Yeah. Now, I know that parks do different things to expedite your time in lines. I know Disney is one that has, I think now it's called like a lightning pass or something that lets you move a little faster through lines. So I know that's an extra cost not everyone can afford. I think if you're able to accommodate it, that definitely has also been something that's helped us, because even though mom can be in a scooter, we definitely want to reduce the times that we're waiting in line if possible. And also, a lot of the parks, which is nice, they do accommodate people who are in wheelchairs and scooters and things to also get through the line accordingly. But that lightning pass is an extra that has helped. I don't know if you have felt that that's helped us when we've gone to Disney. We've used that.
Yes, absolutely. Because I think the hardest thing is to be standing up for a long time. So if they let you come in, to the the ride or the special attraction, if you can come in with your scooter, and they're very favorable that way, that helps a lot. Because standing for a long time is difficult. So it has worked. They have, I would say, easy accessibility to, us that need a little extra care or extra time.
For sure. And then probably one of the last things that I could think of was, especially if you're out and about all day, is making sure that your older traveler has medications on them, because I know that sometimes folks have to take them multiple times in the day, usually AM, PM. But if you're out for the entire day, you want to make sure you have them on you. You want to make sure if you have a timer set on your phone or something, so you're reminded when you need to take it. Also to consider, if you need to take food with it, that you're mapping out meal times accordingly to make sure that happens so that they can take their meds the way they should be taking them. And also, a usual strange unfortunate thing that happened to mom is that she developed some food allergies. And so also keeping in mind that places that you go to have options to accommodate those. And that really applies to anyone. For example, I'm a vegetarian, so we always have to keep in mind, are there options for me to eat there? Do you think that we've done pretty good in finding places that meet your
very
needs?
good. For example, I'm allergic to eggs. So, of course, you go out to breakfast, and that's the main thing on the menu, different kind of, egg dishes. Omelette, I miss the omelettes. But I can have, for example, avocado toast if it's breakfast, chilaquiles that I love. And there are options, even for lunch and dinner. There are options for that. And yeah, it's pretty, I think it's very optional. So far, it's been pretty good.
Yeah. I think one more thing I would add, and most of our trips we can drive to. We've had a few where we've had to fly. And I think one thing over time we've had to be aware of too is longer flights, though I know it's a little more costly, is paying the little extra for a little bit more room. Doesn't necessarily have to be first class, but if you find a flight that has one of those sort of mid seats where you have just a little bit more legroom, like when we went to Disney World, I think we did that.
Exactly.
Was helpful, because also for my mom, she did have one side of the hip replaced. And so sitting for long periods of time and not moving makes it really rough, and she gets real stiff. So we wanted to make sure we had opportunity for her to stretch out, as well as getting up, I'm sure, during the flight to walk a little bit, but keeping those things in mind too.
Exactly. And I would say, of course, comfortable clothing. And again, very good walking shoes. Shoes are comfortable in the plane, for example, if you have to fly for many hours. And I have really good, walking shoes, tennis shoes. But what also helps, and I don't know if we can mention names, but there is this insole for your shoes, and that has made the world of difference for my feet and your body, because you need to have that helps the way you walk and all the parts of your back and hips and so on. So I have very good shoes, and those insoles are wonderful.
We'll say at the Good Feet store. We're not sponsored, but if you want to hear a story.
But it's the truth. It's the truth. They make a difference.
Well, is there anything else you can think of that we didn't cover? I think we covered a few of the top.
Yes, keep hydrated. But then again, either you bring water with you, or it's easy in the places we're at to have some water. Don't forget about that.
Yeah.
Hydration, good shoes. Of course, you have to count on the patience of your family, because we have to be realistic. Older people, we're going to need to go slower. Sometimes we want to do what the kids do, but like in the younger family, when we go to Disneyland, for example, they want to go to certain rides and walk faster to get there or something. For example, I sit down, wait for them. I have some coffee. If it's Disneyland, I sit down, contemplate the castle, the beautiful castle, with coffee, look at the people coming and going. But one has to be realistic. You cannot keep up with certain rights. And that's one important thing, just to enjoy what you can.
Yeah. And I think with that too, speak up, because, I know I make it a point to check in periodically and say, do you need to stop? Do you need to rest? But don't be afraid to speak up and say, I need a break, because sometimes we are so involved in what we're doing and going that we the younger ones can fail to ask that. So feel free to speak up too.
Absolutely.
And if you think of anything else, like I said, share that in the comments. If there's something you want us to speak more on, please let us know in the comments. If you liked our little discussion, hit the like button, hit subscribe. We have a lot more coming. This is my mom,
Anna.
I'm Joanna. My tia is here.
Auntie.
In spirit, Auntie Laura. And in honor of her, we are going to be showing a few shorts, and we invite you all to guess where you think she is. So we're going to be dropping some hints. Yeah, where in the world is Tia Laura? So we'll be dropping little hints, and we encourage you in the comments to put where you think she is, because it's an exciting adventure that's going to last a few weeks. And so we want you to join us in the experience of her travels. But for now, we'll remind you all, whether it's good, bad, or funny, what?
Live it up!